Welcome back to the Manna Daily Podcast. Today I am joined by a very controversial guest, but I love having those on, especially is Flat Earth Dave, otherwise known as Dave Weiss, a gentleman who has started his career and literally being the guy that says, you know what, I'm willing to argue with anybody. I have watched several of your other shows and appearances where every time you get on, they're using slander, they like smacking you in the face and calling you stupid, and yet you keep getting right back up and arguing your points. So kudos to you. Dave, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to the world as you see it.
Well, to say that I'm willing to argue with everybody is not quite true. I'm willing to have a discussion with anybody that either thinks it's stupid or is open-minded, either way. But there are people out there that are just out here to argue and they'll never learn. And you're referring to the Professor Dave interview that Google will serve to you when you search for Flat Earth. They think that, he was so smart, but actually that video is waking up more people to Flat Earth than anything else, because people are like, why is a professor acting that way? And then they find out he's just a failed musician and an internet troll that the Google algorithm pushes. It all works in our favor. It's all good publicity. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening. So what happened? In a nutshell, I was normal person growing up in Connecticut like you, and I was in corporate America, started my own business, left there. Everything's going super well, doing a conspiracy podcast, and then this truth kind of fell on my lap, and I realized how important it is. And for those of you listening to this topic for the first time, like, wait, why is the shape of the earth important? I still have to go to work on Monday. You'll find out if you stick around. If you stick around, you'll find out that this is actually the thing that frees you. The truth will set you free. There's a few statements that have come out in the world that, through the government, I guess, or that are true, and very few. One is nothing's a fear except fear itself. That is, fear is how they control us, and the truth will set you free.
So yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. And I think that's the thing, is a lot of folks don't want to confront it because it challenges everything you've ever been taught. So then you kind of start questioning the school system, then you start questioning, your faith. And I think this is one of the biggest things. I know as a Christian, I've been on Josh Monday, who taps into biblical cosmology and stuff like that, and the firmamental. And I love that they're at least acknowledging. So when it says like the circle of the earth, who says it has to be a sphere? How do we know it's not enclosed in like a tub?
The definition of a circle is a line on a plane, which is a flat surface, where all the points on that line are equidistant from a center point. That's a circle.
Nice.
Okay. A sphere is something different. A sphere has the same attributes, but it's a sphere, because all the points on a sphere are equidistant from a center point, but a circle, which is flat, is equidistant from a center point. I think in the Bible, words are used very carefully. There's other places in the Bible where they do talk about a ball or a sphere. I'm not a Bible expert, but Josh is, but he knows all that stuff.
Yeah. So I think the first question to help solve that for everybody, what exactly is the North Pole or the magnet as you would define it?
Well, that's a great question, because the two places on Earth that we're not allowed to explore physically or virtually are the North Pole and the South Pole, because those two places will tell us where we are. Those two places are the two places that will show that whether we live on a globe or flat. Antarctica, I'm going to get to your question, but I'm just going to come around to it. Just making my point. If you look at all of the average heights of all the continents, Antarctica is right here, and it's over double the height. So, large bodies of water at rest need containment. And, like a pond, the sides of a pond need containment, right? The water has to be higher the land has to be higher than the water.
Right.
And so Antarctica is the shoreline of our ocean. I'm going to get to your center point, but I'm just looking I want to make a point here, and if I could find it. So this is how the world would be set up. This is Antarctica. right? They tell us Antarctica, the little continent at the bottom of a ball is about 11,000 miles around, but anytime anyone tries to go around it, they're going 60, 70,000 miles, which is all the way around here.
Right.
So let me just get to this. Where'd it go? Boom, boom, boom. I'm still looking for something, but this is it's not going to show. Oh, there it is. This is supposedly a film from some Russian filmed it flying over the North Pole. I don't know if it's real or not. I think it's real. There's a lot of analysis of it. So something's going on there. Again, anyone that thinks they know what that is just making up stories, right? And then if you look, that in the North Pole, they call it the Rupus Negra or the Black Rock, and it's blocking the winds. It's so tall. It's supposedly bigger than Everest, and it's supposed and it would be a magnetic mountain. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's interesting. All right, I found what I was looking for. All right. So on Google Earth, you can do this on your web version of Google Earth. You can go and you can measure any continent, right? No problem. It gives you the square miles. And if you try to measure Antarctica, watch what happens. It inverts. Right? And so that's weird. That's weird. But if you understand what they did with the map wrapping around a ball, that kind of makes perfect sense. And then if you go to the north and you go up to where the North Pole is, and you say, all right, let me measure this area around here, the same thing happens. It inverts, right? But if we try to measure anywhere else, it'll show you anywhere else except those two places. So you can't even virtually go there. And if you try to measure around, like the great circle around the equator, okay.
Yeah.
So if we try to measure, let me bring it around. Actually, if you try to measure this. So I'm going to pull a line all the way around the Earth. And it tries to loop around. So I'm putting anchor points. So it's letting me go all the way around. And when I go all the way around and I try to connect it, oops, bring it over. So there, now if I connect it, it just inverted. If you see what it did, it made yeah, because that's not how the world is. So again, the place that would tell us the truth is off limits virtually and physically.
And even when you're trying to use the technology to do it, it intentionally wraps itself over again. It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then people say, like right now, I think the sailboat race, that goes around Antarctica is happening. And show you. So this is these sailboats are the fastest sailboats in the world, right? They go 25, 35 miles an hour, right? And in the south, the winds are stronger than in the north. Just consistently. There's just more winds. So when they say they're sailing around Antarctica, they actually don't even really see Antarctica. They're so far from Antarctica that the only way they know how far they're going is GPS, which is run by NASA, right? And so from South Africa to Brazil, it was 32,000 miles. This was on their website last year, right? Wait, the equator is only 25,000 miles around. So how is that 32,000 miles, right? Right? Unless it's something like this,
Wow.
Yeah. And so, this is the trip that they make. And if you look at the actual, projected distances that they say that they're going and the amount of time that it takes, distance over time equals miles per hour. Their average mile per hour is 4 miles per hour. So that's like saying, hey, I was in the Indianapolis 500 and I won. Oh, how fast did you go? I went about 25 miles an hour. Right. I mean, but they have no way of confirming it. And
Right.
people say, well, if the Earth was flat, astronauts would tell us. Well, astronauts have told us, and you just don't see it on the news. But there are people on these sailboats, captains on these sailboats that have spoken to us, and they're like, yeah, Earth is flat. This is a whole scam. I mean, there are whistleblowers out there. I mean, there's are people out there telling you the truth about the thing you're supposed to stick in your arm, but most of the CNN watching public doesn't know about it. So when people say, well, people would tell us, people are trying to tell you all the time. God's trying to tell you all the time. Your spirit is trying to tell you all the time. You just can't hear it because you're so untuned and lost in the
things of this world.
The news, right? The news is a mechanism to steer your mind north, east, west, south. News.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
That's just a coincidence, right? News, fear, false evidence appearing real, just a coincidence, right? Right.
And it's the narrative they want you to hear. So while you're on this particular map, I've heard some people argue the thing was like, so if the Pearl Harbor, because we just had that, so I might as well touch on that. So how did they freaking get to Pearl Harbor? How would you draw that on a flat Earth map?
Yeah.
Just to answer that question for some folks.
I think I have it in the app here. Yeah. So this is it on a flat Earth map. Look, Japan, Pearl Harbor.
Straight line.
It's right there. It's right there. Right?
Wow.
But they'll try to show you a Mercator map, right? They'll try to show you a Mercator map. Let me see if I have it. It's and a Mercator map is just the layout of the globe stretched out on a flat surface. But flat earthers, here we go. Oh no, that's not it. Different one. Here we go. Boom. Yeah. So this is just another version of it here. Hold on. I thought I had one that showed what they would show. If you just look on a Mercator map, Japan's over here and Hawaii's all the way over here, but they're not showing you. They're just showing you its splayed out map. This is it right there. Why wouldn't Japan attack Pearl Harbor? I mean, if you believe in that whole false flag anyway.
Right. Well, right. Yeah. Right. Wow. It's a straight line, so it makes complete sense. Whereas have you done any like measurements for how long that flight would have been on versus what they would say narrative versus flat Earth?
Well, here's the problem. I have not, because it's been proven that all of the distances over water are incorrect. The distances from California to New York, or from Spain to England, all of these interlocking land distances are fairly correct. Fairly. Australia is whacked. People have been measuring Australia. Australia is more stretched out, like our map shows. And people just think that, well, because it's a continent, people have gone across. How are you going to measure it? How are you going to measure it? There's no road you can measure it on because it's zigzagging all over the place, right? There's trains in Australia that go incredible distances straight, and people have measured that, and it doesn't line up with what they tell us. So, again, the distances over water are just incorrect. Here's one that this is, you've looked into flight routes because you've been looking. But if we look at this one, right? So we got Australia's over here, we got New Zealand right here, we got Argentina over here. So here's South America, and this is what the Great Circle Route, which is just another deception, says. Hey, go. This is the shortest route. Okay, that's from Flight Aware, right? That's what they're telling us. I'll agree with that. I would like, why wouldn't we just go like that? But that's all right, right? That's no big difference. The actual flight route goes from New Zealand across the equator to San Francisco to Texas, back down across the equator to Argentina.
Seriously?
That's the actual flight route.
So would they argue, play devil's advocate, would they say they need to stop for gas or like to fuel up and stuff like that?
That's what the only argument that they have, but I'll debunk that in 2
Debunk it. Good,
seconds.
good.
So New Zealand, San Francisco, Houston, Texas, Argentina. Could you get any straighter of a line? Right? Could you
Yes.
could you get any straighter of a line? Right?
It's a shot, dude.
Yeah. Excuse me. If I go on the app and I'll go to the images section, I type in Southern, and if you remember the World Cup, find that one. Where is it? The World Cup last year was in Doha. There it is. All right. So when they were in Doha, this is Argentina won. They want to go back to Buenos Aires.
Yep.
But they went to Rome for fuel. And then they went down here. The Globers have two arguments for this one. Well, they had to go drop off. They wanted to go visit the Pope, right? That's what they said. But they didn't. There's no them visiting the Pope. They literally went there for fuel, but they had their own plane with their own pilot. It was just them. It was a chartered plane. They didn't need to change pilots. They didn't need to pick up anyone else. They just needed fuel. Does this look like a fuel saving stop to get to Buenos Aires? But if you look at it on a flat Earth map, Doha, Rome, they can't get fuel out here in the middle of the ocean. So they got it there. And then they continued over here.
Hey, everybody, a quick message that I'd like to share with all of you. Our lives are filled with toxins in our air, food, and even in the information we're taught. Avoiding them all is impossible, but helping your body detox doesn't have to be complicated. That's where Masterpiece comes in. Just 5 drops under your tongue twice a day, and that's it. Super easy, super simple, and it doesn't even taste bad. I've tried countless supplements, and while generally I'm pretty healthy, I didn't really feel much of an effect. But with Masterpiece, it delivered noticeable benefits. Check out the podcast I did with Terry from Masterpiece, linked below this video, or you can find links directly to Masterpiece on my website, flatearthdave.com, or in the shopping section on the app. The key to health is to detoxify. Now back to the show.
Straight lines again.
Straight lines, right? There's so many examples of this, along with the emergency flights, right? This one is a plane from Hong Kong was going to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours into the flight, which is right about here, a family traveling together. The mother died suddenly. Weird, right? How could that happen, right? And she's dead in her seat. Little kids, husband, plane's full. They just have to throw a blanket on her and like, hey, what happens when somebody's feeling ill or somebody dies? They land the plane immediately. They land the plane immediately, but they flew for 8 more hours until they got to Germany. I'm like, well, why didn't they just finish, get to the UK? And they landed in Germany, right? Think about those poor kids, right? If you look at it on a flat Earth map, they were over Russia. So if they landed in Russia, first thing that would happen is Russia would probably be very helpful, and that wouldn't be good for politics, right? Russia helping, that could spark world peace, right? And then the other thing was people like us would go, why were you over Russia? And then we would show it and we'd be able to prove it. And that would be some rock solid evidence. So they were over Russia. That's it. And when you look at these emergency landings, they're some of them are just mind blowing. Where's one? We'll go back this way. Whoops. Well, basically, I don't need to show you all of them because they're all there on the app. If you go to the frequently asked questions page and then the Southern flight routes, there's a whole bunch of videos on it. But they're like, hey, emergency, we have to land. They land 15 minutes later. But if you look at the flight route, they were like 1,500 miles from that place. They got there in 15 minutes.
Right.
1,000 miles. They got there in 15 minutes. Okay. How's that possible? How's that possible?
They're
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess my follow-up question, and I did this one for astro means star, not as in nautical. So you're already telling me something about star water, if we're going by basic etymology for astronaut. What are stars and planets then on the flat Earth definition? And that's
Yeah.
something I really do not know. Again, I don't need to know all the answers, but I can confirm where I'm at. What I do know. What's your thoughts of what's
Uh,
up there?
I'll give it. Let me. I just found the
Oh,
emergency
yeah,
route.
sure, by all means.
Show you real quick. New York to Hawaii. The emergency here about 1,000 miles to Seattle. They landed there in 15 minutes. Seattle's right on the flight route on a flat Earth map. Right here, Pakistan to London. Emergency landing in Moscow. Again, about 1,000 miles out of the way. They got there, but it on the flat Earth map, it's right there. Right? Again, Moscow, way out, maybe 1,500 miles out of the way, but on a flat Earth map, it's right on the flight route. Just these are just weird coincidences, right? Dallas, Beijing to Dallas, or Dallas to Beijing, I'm not sure, but they stopped in Calgary. Calgary's right on the flight route. Okay, I mean, it makes no sense other than flat Earth. Everything works on flat Earth, right? Now here they could just continue to Los Angeles, but they went out of the way. Well, out of the way is right there. Why does all track, when you ship stuff all over the world, it all goes through Alaska? It's kind of weird because Alaska is kind of the closest to the center point, easy to get to everywhere. Stars. Now, if you ask a glober what stars are, well, stars are helium and hydrogen that decided to collapse upon themselves in space rather than violently fill the available space like all gases do, and create burning stars that never burn out. Okay, right? Well, all of that is Narnia nonsense, right? It absolutely it makes no sense whatsoever, right? But when we look at stars with today's advanced lenses, we see stuff like this.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, I've never seen that before. Well, you've never looked, right? I've never heard an astronaut say that the Earth was flat. I have. I've never heard an airline pilot say it. Have you asked any? We have time. Yeah. We have a 3-hour video of 27 pilots talking about how the Earth is flat and stationary and that they never adjust for curvature. So, what are stars? The answer is, I have no idea, but I do actually have a theory.
Okay.
I think stars. This is me. I'm not speaking for anybody else, and it's just my theory. Okay. I think that stars are perfect. I think they're angelic. I think they're angels. And that's why they never move. And I think that we live in this incredible living soul system. The creator created a system for souls to have experiences. Right? And so stars are perfect, which is why they never move. We're corkscrewing through space, right? All the motions of all the planets in the sun, and we're moving 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. Yeah. And all the other stars are doing their things, but never once in all of history have two stars changed position due to parallax, right? Right? When you move, things change, right? The closer things move faster, right? Never once have two stars changed position. That's another impossibility. Mm-hmm. So, are stars sentient? I think so. This is just me speaking, right? Do we live in a living system? Absolutely. Everything is alive. Everything is electrostatic. And we are here expanding the mind of the creator. We are part of the creator. We are at the center of creation. And that's what I think stars are. And they're here. They're local. They're small, right? This is the star Sirius, right? In the heliocentric model, when we look up at the stars, where you're in Connecticut, stars are not so great because of light pollution and stuff, right? Yeah. But if you go down like to Pennsylvania and you go up to the top of a mountain on a clear night, it's vivid, right? You go down to the Caribbean, it's vivid, right? So if you had a camera looking up at the stars in Arizona and it's a nice starry night, clear, beautiful. Mm-hmm. But if you move that camera 10, 20, 30,000 feet in the air, are the stars going to be clearer and brighter?
No.
In the heliocentric model, they should be. It's like you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
the top
yeah.
of the mountain, you're getting away, you're getting through any light pollution, and you're also getting above the thickest part of the atmosphere. So the stars should get brighter and clearer, not less clear, not smaller, right? Now, the distance 10, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 feet is measurably insignificant to the actual distance of a star. So expecting them to get bigger due to perspective is crazy. And we don't expect that, but we do expect them to get clearer and brighter because we're getting through the atmosphere. We're getting through the thickness of the soup of the atmosphere, right?
Right.
So we sent a balloon up at night with the cameras facing up, and before it even took off, you can see the Milky Way. It's a very clear night. And when that balloon got up to 40, 50, 60, 70,000 feet, 80,000 feet, all the stars disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I can come up with 100 theories of how that works on a flat Earth, but there's no theories on how that works on a globe Earth.
See, this is something I've never seen, that they have different colors, but even looking at it, it looks similar, like a jellyfish flickering in the water.
There's amazing videos, and there's stars. Oh, this is parallax. Like if we're moving, stars are changing positions. This is what would be happening, but we don't have anything like that. And the official story is, this is an example of parallax. So imagine these are all stars, right? They're all changing positions, right? Because everything's moving randomly.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's moving randomly.
Wow.
So does the star Arcturus, you can see that with your naked eye, and it'll be changing colors. It looks just like this. But get any zoom camera, any telescope or binoculars, zoom in. I think it's Ezekiel or one somewhere in the Bible. It says that the stars are described, or angels are described as like a wheel inside a wheel, right?
Yep.
Don't quote me on that. But Josh is the guy to talk about. And there's so many stars that look like they have these wheels inside them, but I don't know. This is another view of Arcturus, and that one's pretty clear. So again, I don't know what they are, but the idea that they're, if you had a box of helium and hydrogen or just air, and you brought it into a room that's a vacuum, and you open that box, instantly it's going to equalize pressure. Like when you open a soda can, instantly equalizes, always. But helium and hydrogen defy gravity here on Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in space, they collapse and create stars, right? And your brain is trying to figure out, like, how is that even possible, right? How is it that how does that make any sense whatsoever? And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Wow.
A wheel inside a wheel. I don't know. It's just people say, "Oh, flat earthers don't know what stars are. They don't know how far the sun is. They don't know what the sun is." Well, neither do you. You're just making up a bunch of BS, right?
Or you're quoting whoever told you what to say.
Yeah, you're.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, again, we know we know that we don't know things. So,
yes.
Do you remember this photo from school? This is a Crab Nebula. This is where stars are born. Carl Sagan showed this on Cosmos, and this is so big that you can't even fathom, right? You can't even fathom. So this is dust and gas in space. Problem number one: dust and gas in space. How do you have gas uncontained in space?
Right.
And they say there's so much dust and gas here that it collapses and creates stars. And this thing is a star manufacturing spot in the universe. Okay. So think about this.
I love it.
So somehow a pocket of gravity forms and hydrogen and helium start getting attracted to it. Okay.
Right.
And as more hydrogen and helium that defy gravity here on Earth, I wish I had my cool story bro glasses on right now. Right. Okay. Apart from it gets until it starts sucking in more and more gas, and then it becomes a star. And then for some reason, the gases stop collapsing, and it goes, okay, you're a star of X size now, and you're ready to go. Yep. What does it? Kick it out, right? It kicks it out. Does go park yourself in the galaxy somewhere? I mean, how does it get away from there, right? Here, there we go. Cool story, bro. Cool story, bro. It's unbelievable.
It doesn't make any sense.
Stupid. It's so stupid.
That's why I like arguing with somebody when they're believing in evolution. I'm like, so you're telling me this space tumbleweed meteorite came plummeting down here, poof, and then we evolved from this to that to the other thing, and it's like it doesn't make any sense that way. I know in ancient Hebrew they refer to angels as star walkers. That's where we get the inspiration for Luke Skywalker.
I like it. Star Wars.
Yes.
And and there's
that aligns with what you're implying.
Yeah, and most of the movies, truth in the movies, lies in the news. Most of the movies are telling us truth. Like, I believe Star Wars is a true story, but it's here on flat Earth. It's about the other lands beyond Antarctica. And there's a book called and again, to figure out what's going on that the Earth is flat, you don't need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. But I do like,
right.
I do like, right, and I think it also works biblically, right? I think when God talks about the Earth, He's talking about the entire plane, and there's a dome tent over the whole thing. It's interesting, but when you travel from, here to here, you're going to other lands, to another world, right? Extra territory, right? So this is from the navigator who crossed the ice wall, right? So you have the plane, right? We live here. This is our world. This is our local pond. And these are other planets or planets, pieces of the plane, right? And they're just thousands of miles away instead of incomprehensible light years. And there's hostile planets. There's trade routes. There's all sorts of stuff. And so they say that anybody that travels in between these has to be of a certain vibration, and they all have a connection to the source. Sounds like the force, right? I think they converted a God connection, a source connection, and called it the force. And literally everything about Star Wars works, or at least is possible. I mean, Star Wars is ridiculous. Planets, and we were just talking about gas balls in space. How do you have gas in space, right? We just went over that. Right. How does that work? And the closest star is 25 trillion miles away, 4.5 light years. Closest star to our solar system is 25 trillion miles away. Right? Is your brain able to comprehend that number?
No, that's like, how would we be able to even see it?
Well, exactly, right. And do you know how big a trillion is? Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is? Just to show you, have you heard me talk about this?
No, I haven't.
So, how long would you guess 1 trillion seconds is? If you guess it within 2 days, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
A single second.
1 trillion seconds. How long is it?
70 years.
Oh, very close. 31.
Oh, wow.
31,000 years. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. 30. So just think, just let that soak in. Let that soak in. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. You and I get in a spaceship. We're traveling a mile per second, which is faster than anyone's ever gone. We travel for 31,000 years. We are 1/25th of the way to the closest star. We got to do that 24 more times. We get there. We find out there's no life on any of the planets that are allegedly there. And now we got to go to the next star, which is 100 times farther. Okay. These are distances that your brain can't comprehend. Right. Meanwhile, on flat Earth, more land is just 10, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 miles away. That's it.
Yeah.
A day trip on the right vehicle.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like mind-boggling trying to grasp that.
And people will fight to defend the globe beyond belief. They have no idea. The people, there's different types of people. There's paid or possessed. Those are the trolls that are out there fighting to keep humanity enslaved. And then there's the people that are just brainwashed, and they're like, "Oh, flat Earth is stupid because that they were shown the disc floating in space. Hey, flat Earth is stupid. Cats would have pushed everything off the edge.
Yeah.
This is mind programming, right? And nobody believes that. Nobody, no flat earther believes that. Just people that are ignorant to what flat Earth is. Oh, what are we, a disc? The disc, right? Two false models. This is a false dichotomy right here. Both of these are false. So pick one. Doesn't matter. You lose.
I mean, it makes a little bit more sense when you're thinking in the Greek format when they were talking about this planet connects to this one and this one connects to that. That makes a little bit more sense, is that, quote unquote, you will ascend to get to a certain point. I mean, even the word pyramid, so like our dollar bill, pi, fire, Ra, Ray, sun god, mid in your midst, fire the sun god in your midst. You'll find that inner light and you will ascend to one of these things, or even the Mormons, that they'll get their own little planet. That makes a lot more sense. Again, I'm just giving a little build up to what you're saying. I think that makes a lot more sense as that this is what they actually believe. And even Hollywood with the, what was it, that little star thing that they got, little pentagrams on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
The Hollywood Walk of Fame. You see the astronauts.
It's like Orion's belt.
The astronauts have a star there. The Apollo astronauts have their own star, right? So I think now people show the domed Earth. They show a snow globe with the big tall dome.
Yeah,
the dome is like 75 miles up. Okay, so think about that with the size of the Earth that we know, the known Earth. That would be like a flat disk with a flat ceiling. You wouldn't even notice the dome, right? Because think about that. We're over 75 miles apart from each other just in Connecticut. So flip Connecticut up on its side. That would be the height of the dome for the whole Earth, the whole flat Earth. Okay. But we see in a celestial sphere, right? Because we see everything. It's just in as far as we can see. So it creates a dome over us. And from our personal dome, yes, it is a high ceiling dome. But in reality, like I can't see California. But I can look up and I can see pretty high. I can look over there. And if you connect all of the distances that you're seeing in a celestial sphere. And I think that the optics of the sky are super fascinating. My personal belief is, and I've been looking into this more and more because of some stuff that's going on in the next week or two. I think the sky is like a tent, like God says. And the tent either has 4 or 6 sides to it. So it's more pyramidal, if you will. Right? So think of the sky tent. The North Pole is the high point where God's throne is. And then you have the sides of the tent that come out from there. So you have like these flat surfaces. Maybe they're arched a little bit, but you got 4 or 6 different sides. Right. So now you have your spinning stars in the north. So there's just spinning stars in the north that go out to maybe about where they say the equator is. And then the sky is that molten looking glass, super reflective. And when you're in the south, it's a reflection of the northern stars. So you have 4 or 6 counter rotating selections out. I mean, four or six counter rotating stars out there. So if you have the northern stars spinning here,
yeah,
you'll have counter rotating stars spinning out here.
Gotcha.
Right. Again, looking up at the sky is no way to determine the shape of the Earth.
Wow.
Right. So, that's what Glober's like. They have two things. Oh, well, 2,000 years ago, Eratosthenes figured it out. Well, if you look into that, first, that's ridiculous. And two, it more proves a flat Earth than a globe Earth. But then they like measuring the stars. So I've got this plot of land here. You're an amazing architect, right? And I'm going to hire you. I want to build an amusement park. I want to build a massive amusement park. I want it to look like this. So if you showed up and started measuring the angles to the stars to figure out how you're going to lay out the amusement park, I'd say, what, you lost your mind? Okay. But that's what Globers do, right? On my app, do you have the app?
I do, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So, and we'll talk about the app in a minute, but there's a great biblical section in here. Some great stuff in there. They say that my app uses globe curvature math. Well, the first thing is I am using GPS, which is the ground positioning system, because I don't have $20 billion to build my own, right? But the way they've created GPS to work is they looked at the sky dome, right? The dome, azimuthal grid of vision. They used formulas to derive a globe Earth based on the sky. So therefore it works based on a dome Earth. I mean, on a globe Earth, which is just a construct of what they pulled, the information they pulled out of the dome sky. So the sky is domed. And that's how it works. And again, we were talking about earlier, the distances over water don't make any sense. Flight routes don't make any sense. Northern flight routes make sense. When you fly anywhere in the north, anywhere. So the north is everything inside of here. So no matter where you go, you would never cross the equator from a northern airport to another northern airport, right? And no flights ever do, right? On a globe, if you got the north at the top, right? Any flights in the northern hemisphere would never cross the equator. They would never go below the equator, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. And guess what? No flights ever do, right? So the north is from in here. So no matter where you go, you would never need to cross the equator to get from any northern airport to another northern airport. But in the south, if you want to get from Santiago to Australia, you have to cross the equator twice. Unless, of course, you want to go all the way around here. And there are reasons for doing that. On the app, on the frequently asked questions page, which is the question mark, we have the Southern Flights button right there. And there's tons of videos that explain how the Southern Flights only work on a flat Earth.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you discovered the biblical section yet on the app?
I did, and I think actually that might have been the one that led me to one of my other favorite authors, is Edward Hendry's book.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love his stuff. He cites meticulously. He's so good at his stuff.
Right. So if you go to a biblical section and the books area, I think that's where it probably would be. And his book should be, there it is, right there.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's we call that the Bible of Flat Earth. But there's a new book that came out called the Flat Earth Bible, right? Nice. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually reading it. I've actually almost finished with it, and I think I might even have the forwarder in there where they quoted me for the book. Yeah, it was nice.
Nice.
And there's all sorts of stuff. My favorite section, of course, is the more land. I'm a big fan of more land. Here's the navigator across the ice wall. Highly recommended. You have kids?
Me? No.
Okay. All right. No kids. It's a great kids book. It's a great adult book. It's good to read with your kids, but it's also just super fun book to read. And there's all sorts of also all kinds of books, right? Biblical, kids books, everything.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So I only have one thing I wanted to ask you. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if this will let me share screen. Says host is
Oh,
disabled. I just wanted
I can set it up. Hold on.
sure.
Um,
I just want to get your insight on it because when I was looking up the thing with the Baphomet, a lot of people don't seem to realize he sits on a little dome. And there's a reason for that, is because that's what the guy was intentionally, again, trying to show us. That is just as above, so below, is that, like I'll make the world mixed with what's, God, and we will ascend to become like our own little gods, essentially. Um, and I was asking because when I noticed something about Space Force,
yeah.
made me start scratching my head because I'm seeing a visual, which I'll show in a second, that really was making me go, well, why is that the logo they chose? Because I don't think they're idiots. Because we all know that they're doing stuff intentionally with, like, either NASA with like the serpent's tongue, the Hebrew word meaning deceive. These people are not idiots with how they put symbolism out there for us.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Good. Share away.
Let's see. So let's put that present.
Oh, there you go. Space Force. It's there.
So what's your thoughts on why they would create this organization? Does this have anything to connect maybe with Babel and trying to go to war against heaven, breach the dome, quote unquote? And like I said, here you got him sitting here on the little dome.
Yeah. I got that. That's in the app if you just type in space.
Oh, you do? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's right there. It's just a coincidence. Come on. It's just a coincidence. Um, they're why do they do these things? That's the question that you're asking, right?
Right. Like what's the purpose? And just for additional, Thoth, Hermes, as above, so below, that actually comes from Hermes Trismegistus, and you can tell by the manhood thing that he's got going on. But that just makes me always scratch my head. Why do that? What I don't buy that you're that stupid to just throw that out there for everybody to see. It makes me go, oh, and one other thing. With Mithra, they have a thing where they have an initiation thing. And on one hand, it's coagula, like Baphomet's tattoo. On the other one, it's solve, as within, so without, as universal. So they're doing this whole thing. And the Mithrasians used to believe the sky was made of stone. And this is why they had a lot of their ceremonies all in caves. And then they chisel little holes in the cave and they look up at the stars and whatnot. So I'm over here like, I don't think this is all a coincidence that. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, they're always telling us what they do, and this whole realm works with numerology. I know if you do the A is 26 and Z is 1, National Aeronautics and Space Administration equals 666. It could just be a coincidence, right? And then if you look at, there's hundreds of these. 6 times 6 times 600 is the circumference of the Earth. The Earth curves at 0.666 inches per mile. We're orbiting at 66.6 thousand miles per hour on average. Okay, 6 times 6 times 60 is the diameter of the moon, right? And there's tons more. There's tons. Screenshot that, And
whoa,
why do they do this? I don't know. Maybe it's just how the world works. It's this world is very numeric. Everything is a code, and maybe it's revelation of the method where they always have to tell us what they're doing. They're not allowed to break our free will. God gave us free will. And if they tell us what they're doing and we're too stupid and we agree to contract with them, then we agree. People say, why the lie? What difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. When you're born, your parents immediately contract with the state and make you a commodity that's traded on the stock market. They give you a social security number. They tell you live on a ball. Because if government said, yeah, God created this place, they only could make rules, their laws, which aren't anything, to that that would align with God. But if they create their own world and say, no, this is a ball, BAAL, a ball, right?
Yes. Oh, Bale. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they can make up their own rules. And if you play on their ball field willingly and, inject their poisons and eat their poisons and, you are playing with their ball field rules. And, then if they control the money, they completely control you. People don't know that food comes out of the ground. They think it comes from the grocery store, right? You can go into you can go on into your grandmother's garage and find a jar of seeds that they put there 50 years ago. Take a seed out, stick it into the ground. Water will fall from the sky. Could you imagine that? The most precious substance on earth falling from the sky. Okay, right? You can make up stories like it. You come out of the desert, you're dying, you're almost dehydrated, you're almost dead, and someone goes, "I've got 12 gold bars for you, or a glass of water."
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to take the glass of water because it's the most valuable substance on earth, right? And so you do that, and food grows out of the ground. Food comes right out of the ground. Can you imagine that? Right? People, there's so many people on earth that have never grown any food. Right. I can't even imagine. Right? I grew a little garden. I was renting a place years ago. Tiny little plot of land with a stop sign. Oh no parking. No, a stop sign. No parking sign. And I built a ring around that, and I built cucumbers that climbed up that pole. I put like little bamboo sticks through the holes, and I created a cucumber forest, like a bush. And in 2 8x4 or 8x4 maybe raised garden beds, I grew enough food to feed my entire end of the street. Everybody was just getting food.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, and it comes out of the ground for free, right? But people don't know this, right? So they control us with food, with money, with they dilute creation, right? How do you dilute God? You pour him into infinite expanding space, right? The heliocentrists believe that we live in a universe space, and space is expanding at 1 billion miles a minute or something stupid like that. What's it expanding into?
Infinity.
You're trying to come up with some global excuse, but it doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Let's say their logic. Yeah.
Wow. Wait. Let's break down what he said. It's expanding into infinity. What's infinity? What's it expanding into? If infinity exists and it's expanding into nothing, it already exists.
Right.
The universe is expanding because of the Big Bang that a Jesuit priest made up, not even a scientist. Right. And every story, Owen Benjamin does a great breakdown of the Big Bang. It's literally conception. Right. Well, there was a Big Bang, and then a spark happened.
Yeah.
And then, everything grew, and evolution, it's all about the birth. It's all about the birthing method. It just, they just diluted it. So the government, the mind controllers, don't want a population that thinks and knows there's a creator. They want you in doubt and in fear, right? I was one of those people. Yeah. But then when I discovered what the Earth isn't, which is a spinning stupid globe and a heliocentric Narnia, I had no choice but to understand that there's a creator. And then that's kind of where I draw the line, and there's so many people that message me, Dave, I can't wait until you find true creator. You have no idea what my beliefs are. You don't, nobody does, right? Except me, right? And I keep them personal because I don't want to influence you. I want you to find it yourself. I think that your relationship with God is more personal than your sexual habits with your wife or whatever, right? I think it's more personal than that. And just knowing that there's a creator, it's all you need. That's it. Now the journey's yours. But so many people have been hidden from that. And, they're like, well, I thought I got to pay my bills. I got to go to work, right? And what they don't realize is, look at your life. It's your fault. Everything, all of it. It's all your fault because of the way that you think, right? So everything that you have in your life, you've thought about and created. Everything you have, your car, somebody thought about that car and created it. And then you wanted it, you thought about it, and then you got it, right? And so everything in your life comes from thoughts, right? So if they put you on a ball in a prison, your thoughts are limited. You can't even imagine things beyond that. Like if you start thinking about, oh, I want to go to another planet one day, you're deluding yourself.
Right.
You're diluting your creation ability. You're diluting your potential. And so what difference does it make? It makes all the difference in the world. If you're on a ball, remember Truman from the Truman Show?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be an explorer. And she goes, oh, there's nothing left to explore, Truman. There's nothing left to explore, right?
Mm.
And she pulls down the map. That limits his thoughts. And it's only when you break free of that and understand that we are in a world of abundance, a world with a close, loving creator, that our thoughts actually do manipulate this reality. I don't like the word simulation because I don't think that's the right word, but we are in a construct that will blow your mind. It'll blow your mind once you see it. And your ability to manifest is beyond what any of us even realize. And I think that we used to have that ability just a couple hundred years ago when there was a way more advanced civilization here than we are now. And we are just living in a post-apocalyptic world with a bunch of energy-feeding vampires controlling us, trying to stop us from realizing our true potential. But luckily, we are living in the time of the apocalypse right now, which is the lifting of the veil. And people are waking up faster and faster and faster. No matter what they try, it's backfiring and it's giving more and more people the information that they need. They're trying to hide it. YouTube's hiding it. That's why I created the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And it's just a way to bring people together. That's one thing on it. But just get more information every day. The daily video, boom, click the daily video. And I tell people just watch the daily video every day while you're having your tea or coffee, right? While you're having your breakfast. Just watch one video a day. And I guarantee after 2 weeks, you're going to be a different person if you're a glober. You're not going to be a glober anymore. Okay.
Yep.
And, it's got tons of stuff in it. The Friend Finder is just about to come back online, couple more days, and we'll be rocking again.
I love it. Well, Dave, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your insights and thoughts. Do you have any additional, aside from what's already on the screen, any additional things, promotions, events that are coming up that you'd like to shout out?
Sure. Well, one thing is I'm going to be speaking at Acapulco, which is in Acapulco, Mexico in February. So if anyone's looking for a vacation where you can meet amazing truthers, it'll blow your mind. In Acapulco, it's right there in the app in the shopping section. And there's a code FEDAVE for if you want a 10% off. It's a 6-day conference. Amazing in Acapulco. What could be better? And the fellowship that you'll have there. The lineup is amazing. Check it out. It's on my website or on the app, and just go check out the lineup. It's just from health and finance and just truth everywhere. David Icke's son is going to be there. David Icke's going to be doing a virtual appearance. David Avocado Wolf, just so many people, and me. I'm presenting, and it's amazing. I did it last year, and it was mind blowing. Also, on the app, there's a whole referral system where you earn Dome cryptocurrency, right? So you can refer the app and you get a point. And if you get 11 points, you can trade that in for the subscription. There's a subscription on the app, which you don't need to get, but it's $11 a year, which is nothing. But you can earn free points. And also you earn Dome. And from now until January 1st, we're offering double points. So literally the $3 app, if you buy it for somebody or they just get it and use your referral code, you get about $6 or $7 in Dome for a $3 app. Okay. Super fun. And if you're not into crypto,
Can't go wrong.
you need to learn how to use crypto. And this is a way to learn how to use crypto for free. Right. So all that information can be found at flatearthdave.com/gift. It'll teach you how to set up your wallet, how to set up your referral code, and how the whole thing works. So check that out. And and then just beware that the evil ones will show up in your comments and they'll say Dave's a grifter. His app uses the Haver-Sign formula, whatever, which I explained about the dome, right? That I'm just out to dupe people, but they'll never offer a globe proof. They'll never offer a globe proof. And if you look at their channels, those I call them the globe proof channels because they have all the globe proofs on their channel, which is zero content. There's nothing. There's zero content. So they love following me everywhere. If I was a troll though, I would like build my channel a little bit, make, have some stuff there to try to come with. It's horrible. But
original.
Yeah. They're these are evil lost souls. We need to pray for them, I guess. And hopefully they'll come around. But the thing is, once you see flat Earth, nobody leaves. Sounds like a cult, but it's not. It's just because once you see the truth, you can't deny the truth. The truth is the truth will set you free. Fear will limit your ability to live to your true potential. FlatEarthDave.com.
By the way, folks, I do recommend the app because I had somebody who's kind of skeptic, but she's like, well, what would it look like? Flipped out the app. She looked at it. She says, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm like, there you go. The app is worth it for visuals.
Just the visual. It's saying, look, this is how the sun goes around. So it's rising here, and when it's noon here, it's midnight over here. And, and there's the moon. If I turn it on super fast, you'll see that the sun will lap the moon every 28 times around. And then the moon phase changes. That all works. And then if I slow it down, I'll turn on the stars. Is that the stars? Nope, that's the time lapse. That's the time zones. If I turn on the stars, the stars will lap the sun once every 365 days. So the sun will drift back through each zodiac for about a month.
So that's why they ejected the other month, because this was okay.
So there's supposed to be 13 zodiacs, everything, but just the general movement of the stars. Now there's arguments like, is this the right zodiac and everything? Doesn't matter. The stars are spinning faster than the sun, which makes it look like they're going, like the sun is going backwards through the stars. It's not.
Right.
It's like you're going around a racetrack with two cars, and one car is going a little bit faster than the other one. So it's drifting back. So the one car is drifting back. And after a certain 365 times around, the other car will catch up again.
Right.
So the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 months of 28 days.
Yep.
And then one day to reset the year, that's 365. And the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The sky is a perfect clock, not a stupid heliocentric gravitational model that would never work. I mean, we can't model 3 bodies, let alone trillions of bodies. And for some reason, the stars and the sun and the moon and all the luminaries work perfectly.
Wow. By the way, can you go back for just 1 second? There's one thing I just wanted to show.
On what?
When you went to the zodiac thing, there was something there that was on the compass that I usually see, and I was like, that makes a lot more sense now.
What do you got?
Yeah, see that little star?
Where, in the center?
Yeah, in the dead center. That's what they got on the compass. They got that little star right there.
Polaris.
Yep. You'll notice, guys. I'm just saying, occult wise, you'll notice a lot of that just always shows up right in the center. And why is that in the center? Well, again, North Pole. What's significant about the North Pole? You don't want to believe Dave. I look into some of the stuff he talks about because it's all there. I mean, you want to know why they're doing things.
Here's the thing, and this is it takes a little bit of an honest, genuine, authentic person. Authenticity is my new favorite word, right? It's we're here to experience love, and you can't experience love properly unless you're authentic. And if you look at somebody that everybody loves, they're very authentic, very, very authentic person. So authenticity is the way to go. What were you just saying? I lost my train of thought. You said
oh, sorry.
You said something that sparked me to say something.
Star Polaris, the center, North Pole. Don't just Dave.
No, now it's gone. I had a great point. Sorry. It'll as soon as we hang up, I'll remember it.
That's probably what. Yeah, that always happens that way.
It's all right.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate you making the time on such short notice. And maybe we could do another chat at another point when people get upset in the comments. We can fill in those blanks as well.
I remember my point now. My point is, if you're listening to this and like, okay, Brandon's lost his mind, and the Earth is not a globe, that means you think the Earth is a globe. And if the Earth is a globe, if it was a globe, first there'd be no flat earthers. But if the Earth is a globe, then there must be proof. Right. And so I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. That's almost $300,000 right now. Okay. All you need to do is give me 1 globe proof. So don't waste my time. Get the app, watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks, and then send me your proof. But before you do, make sure you hit the frequently asked questions button. Make sure it's not answered there. It probably is. Don't count your money yet because you're not going to win. Earth is flat. And we live in a created world by a loving creator. And once you see that, also there's another section I want to recommend in the app on the homeschool button. The first section, there's a guy, Darius J. Wright. He's a guy that's experienced outer body experiences like since he was 16. And he's really mastered the art of doing it and has seen what he calls the construct. I think it's fascinating information if you're ready for it. So watch a couple of those videos in the homeschool section. That's the home and the desk right there. And tell me what you think.
Gotcha. Well, folks, this has been the Manna Daily Podcast. Be able to find me on Spotify, Rumble, and YouTube. I'm not sure if YouTube will let me post this, but I'm going to try it anyway.
They will. They're just not going to recommend it. Okay, but
as per usual.
Yeah. And you can find me at flatearthdave.com. Everything's there. You want to book me for a show, you can find that. There's all sorts of stuff there. Tons of stuff. You want to go to Acapulco? Take your family, take your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, whatever. They've got a kids section there. It's super fun. And actually, I think they're getting close to running out of tickets. So if it's something you might want to do, you might want to consider it soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, folks, we will catch you on the next one.
All right. Thanks.
Hey, everyone. If you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.